Okay, everyone. Just starting a new league with the deck. Oh, it doesn't let me reorganize. Hmm, who know? There we go. Spread things out a little. I'm playing the 3 Giga main, which means I've gone down to 3 snapback and 2 subtly to keep the 2 Harbingers main as well. Those are kind of our flex slots, so to speak. Not playing the 25th land. Um, so there you have it. Sideboard, I mean, honestly, mine's a little bit of a mess. I do think you should keep the 4th snapback and the 3rd and 4th subtlety. I definitely want the 3rd and 4th harbinger. I like 2 brazen. I like at least 2 commandeer. And the rest is some spread. I think it might be correct to have another Flusterstorm instead of Maelvent Hermit, although I haven't really gotten to play around with him. I haven't run into a counter spell matchup since putting him in the deck in this slot. And so I like these two. I'm splitting them. It might be correct to have 2 of him or 2 of this instead, or maybe even more. The Strix is kind of concession to Boros as well as other just aggressive creature decks, while also being a spell that I like bringing in against like Eldrazi and Tron. So I like that flexibility of it, and the 2/2 flyer being fine to deal with. Jace is there as a split with Thoracle against decks that have Stone Brain, um, or other effects like that. And Venser's my flex slot. I've put an Emrakul in here. I've had just extra counter spells in here. I'm not sold on like what's the best way, and so I'm like, hey, he can do stuff. Why not? It's a funny card. It's a 4-drop. Is part of why. We'll go ahead and queue up. Maybe I should have queued while I was doing that. Probably. Sorry for the lack in interesting content for the time that this is going. Um, I do think that it's probably going to be correct to put some number of these Selendi visions into waterlogged teachings, which I might just do before the next league. I think I might just do the full 4, honestly, because especially because I've cut down on subtleties, I have very few 4-drops that I can pitch to Shoal, and we really care about 4-drops, whereas I have a plethora of 3-drops already, and the amount of times I'm casting vision are pretty low. And we're probably never casting teachings just because it is for CMC, but there are some corner cases where we could cast it. It'll probably be less than Slendy Vision, so maybe I'll end up splitting it, do 2 and 2, and it kind of makes up for not having the subtleties main. Um, but we'll see. Well, we get to be on the play. That's great. Killer Jones. Oh, we tied. We rolled 3 4s in a row between the two of us. Waiting on our opponent. I guess there's one downside to recording live as well. The videos are going to be longer. So let me know if you prefer just doing the replays where I can fit more in. But I thought it might be fun to hear my live process versus my afterwards process. Can you still type in here? Oh. This is going to be a mall. We only have 1 land. And so also we know that they are likely a prowess, Boros, some form of aggressive deck. I wish we had like uh, if this shoal was a land, I'd probably keep because I could pitch a preordain to a shoal to counter their first play, have 2 lands. Um, I don't know. We're also on the play, but anyways, we have to mull. It's not there. Oof. What a way to start this league off. This has to be a mull again because not only do we only have 1 land, we don't even have preordain, and we have both oracles in hand. Yikes. They block well at least. This is gonna have to be our keep. Uh, shoot. I don't think having a second Lotus is ever wanted, but I think keeping 1 is probably a good idea. We probably need to keep our 1 interactive piece. So we'll dump one of the visions. So we have 2 untapped land potential, as well as Sync could be a spell we cast, although unlikely. We're likely dead before that becomes relevant. I don't know why that got stuck faded. Sorry. You know, just MTGO stuff. Fix yourself. Opponent is taking their time. Technically, I've used more time than them, so can't be too mad. Deciding on our keep. Mostly because I'm explaining it. We will suspend and play the tap land. Feels bad to already be down to 3 cards in hand, but we could still have a turn 4 win, and if our subtlety eats something. So it is Boros. I think we're, as much as Guide of Souls does suck, it doesn't present a clock by itself. So I'm not gonna subtlety it. If it was Ragavan, I likely would have. Because he always hits against us, so to speak, is annoying and can mess up a combo. So we have a combo piece. It's tight though. If we have to use subtlety, then we could be potentially 2 draws away from actually getting to cast it. So we kind of don't want to use subtlety. But if they play the Raptor here and it spins into a Ragavan, like, or a Johnny or whatever, like, we very quickly end up in a bad place. It's a rough matchup, and we had a mulligan. So if we win game 1, you know, that's a big win. Oh, looks like they're splashing black. That's new. So is the Raptor. Typically, this is something I like to subtlety. I just don't know if we pitch the sink if we're actually lining ourselves up to actually have a win. The other option is to pick some memory and hope to draw. We'd rather have a Belcher on turn 4 anyway. And I think I'm going to go with that. Like I said, this is a rough matchup. Wasn't a great hand. That's my reasoning. So I'm going with kind of a more desperate play, but this is a play that lines me up to actually win if I draw well. If I ditch the sink, not only do I have to draw 2 lands. I don't know. I mean, I guess with Bloom, it might be incorrect to do it the way I did. Because with Bloom, I'm guaranteed to be able to cast Memory, and I technically only need 2 lands in play to then cast Oracle on the following turn. So now that I think about it, I probably wanted to keep that. So, you know, if I could rewind, this is a replay. Though you can't even rewind. Yeah, I think that'd be correct. So let's keep track of if I kept this and ditched this. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Like a professional. We're going to go for see if we can draw into the turn 4 win here. At the very least, we have a turn 5 win if we survive. So let's hope the Raptor, it won't whiff, but let's hope it doesn't hit something crazy. At the very least, this is going to win just as fast as Selective Memory would have won. So we didn't hurt ourselves by playing it the way we did. And we can, yeah, we're guaranteed to be able to kill on turn 5. But will we survive? It very much depends on what their next turn looks like. There are lines. I mean, he can spend them energy now, yeah, which he did. Puts us to 16. We're 3, 4, 5, 6. If he gets another trigger, that puts him to 9 damage. I think we're doing okay. Him missing a land drop does help. If we can just hit the untapped land, obviously, that'd be great. I mean, we're so good at this game. So just goes to show, kids, you play like me and you can win games of Magic. Oh, why wouldn't it just automatically pay that? Oh, MTGO. So if I had memory in hand and not this land, the difference is I would have been casting memory off the Bloom this turn and not playing this untapped. So I'd be at 16, passing the turn with the Thoracle on top of my deck. So I think we still would have won. But we played it the way we did, and we got the turn 4 win instead. Which, against other draws from them, might have been relevant. Like I said, I played almost the more desperate play, but we weren't punished. Now, sideboarding, I'm going to go ahead and just consult. Let's consult good old Austin's guide. It is based off a different list of mine, but I like keeping an eye on it, you know? You get to see this live. This is what even I do. So he brings in Stern Scoldings and Borrowers and just takes out the Forces. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm on board with taking out Force for sure. Now, the difference is in his build, he didn't have the Subtly and Snapback cut, so I feel like we want those in. And now the question is, like, do we want to keep Giga Drowses in, or is there something better? He was bringing in Brazen Borrowers. I feel like Venser, he's a little slow. It's interesting he doesn't go up to 4 Harbingers. But I guess it's just because we can't. We don't really want to cut shoals. We don't want to cut our snaps. We don't want to cut on our win cons. But I have the option of maybe cutting a Giga Drowse for it. But I don't think we're going to do that. So I think we're just bringing in. I think we need the Borrower because they could play things like Flute. So I'm going to cut a Giga Drowse for that and not bring this in, even though I mentioned that as a reason why I have it, is this matchup. I haven't planned through sideboarding. As I play around with the sideboard, these are the things that I like to pay attention to. It's like, oh, I don't actually have enough cards to bring out to have more relevant cards. I think Giga Drowse is better on average than Strict Serenade. Because it makes a token still, it will still trigger Guide. They can still put the Guide counters on it to give, have a big flyer. Yeah, I don't know. If I see something like, what would I see? This could hit if they're playing things like Needle and Chalice, I guess. I mean, Chalice on 2 only I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else they could play where I'd really care about that. They're taking a while. They probably are Googling our deck right now. Maybe he's found my deck list specifically. Sorry, I tend to make noises, and that is true when I'm not on a mic. So I just have to train myself that I am actually on a mic being recorded and not just randomly make sounds into your ears. This is great. I'd love another land because I don't really want to bolt myself turn 1, but we're already on the draw, so I'm getting another look. I can cast this turn 2, and we can go for the turn 4 win. Obviously, this, we'll see if that actually happens, but that is what this hand can potentially do. If we're gonna subtlety like a turn 1 Ragavan, we're probably pitching the Brazen, although I might pitch the Preordain. I'd really like to see my first draw before making that decision, but we might not get that luxury depending on what their play is. They obviously have hands that don't play turn 1, but most of the time they're keeping a hand with Ocelot, Ragavan, or Guide. And Guide is their number 1 lead. I assume we see a shock of either Sacred Foundry or, I guess, Blood Crypt, but I don't know what his black cards are. I didn't take that into account when sideboarding either. What is he playing in black? Why did he splash black? Okay. No red mana. Interesting. So Guide, I think, again, we're letting this hit, even though it does... This becomes a bigger threat than anything else because it, lets you buff up creatures, but it's slower. And so we're going to let that hit and try to hit bigger things. Great draw. We'll play this one out. And like I said, we're not going to shock ourselves for the early Preordain. Now that we hit a land, I feel much more comfortable pitching the Preordain to the Subtlety because we're only 1 land away from a turn 4 win. We just need to survive. Obviously, things get different if they play something like a Pithing Needle or other interaction with Charbelcher, where then we're going to have to try to set up a bounce with Brazen Borrower mixed into our land drops. But like I said, we can pitch the Preordain, keep the Borrower, and hope to just draw our land naturally, as well as insulating ourselves against permanent interaction. Well, that's great for us. Even if the Ocelot comes out here and makes the token or whatever, them not having a 2-drop, I'll take it. Obviously, a Thoughtseize here would be not fun. And maybe look at that, called it. We can't respond anyway. They're not gonna have any other plays we can respond to, so I'm just gonna pass. I'm not, using a subtlety on a Mem Knight, so. Yep. Take the Belcher. Makes sense to me. It's funny how it reveals 8 cards because it reveals both sides of each card. of our flipped lands. So it's always a mess when someone thought seizes us. You know, it's a little victories you can take in that. Hey, he might have just stripped my hand, but at least his panel looks crazy. We'll preordain first before choosing a land. Interesting, interesting. I don't. We do have a Thoracle. It seems like Harbinger is even better than I thought. Last game they led on planes, but they must only play like the one. I don't know, based on them fetching this, that they have a basic swamp or mountain in the list. But Shoal's also good. We have 2, 3, and 4 in our hand. Obviously, we mostly care about the 2, and this is one we don't mind pitching. On the other side, Thoracle could block, and then Harbinger could come down. But that's 2. That we'd be putting ourselves to 13 to play those on curve. Oh no, we can't cast it on curve today. Shoot. I think this is a risk. Like I said, lots of choices in this deck, high ceiling. Is this correct? I'm not sure, but I'm going to bottom the Shoal, top the Harbinger with the idea that I'm going to keep this because it could potentially be a blocker, but likely it's just going to be our landfall next turn. I don't have any interaction besides subtlety this turn now. If I had taken the Shoal, I could potentially counter something, but looking at the board state and the fact that I don't have a win con, and I do have Bloom coming, Harbinger I think will give me more turns, right? He's not hitting me for much now. Obviously there are a lot of plays he could make this turn that could put quite the clock into play, but that's a fun, Aether Hub makes sense with Guide. Wow, no play. Okay, well this makes Harbinger look even better because I wasn't going to use Shoal that turn anyway, and now, oh, we're one land away from winning next turn. So definitely this, they might float in response and do something, but if they're spending interaction on this, they're less likely to have interaction for that. And now we just need to top deck another land like a professional while we're holding up subtlety. So what are you floating? Fatal Push doesn't do it. What is this? Oh, Bowmasters. I completely forget that that's a card. It's great playing a blue deck where this like doesn't really affect us. I think I'm fine with them hitting. It will give them enough energy to activate Guide, but again, we're only 1 mana away from winning next turn, and we can win the next one, and this is about to turn off all their mana. So if all they have is some 1/1s and they make one of them a 3/4 flyer, like I'm okay with that, and I'd rather hold on to subtlety for something that adds more of a clock faster or interacts with us, if that makes sense. Because at this point, like I can go down to 4 life and still have lethal next turn. So also Harbinger can block everything that isn't buffed by the energy. Oh, this makes it so we don't have to bolt ourselves, which is the upside of it that often comes into play that you forget about. Our lands all come in untapped now, so even Vision or Baying Veil or Jawari all work for us next turn to win, and we don't have to bolt ourselves. So we could go to 1 life and win. I assume he's I don't know. If he doesn't swing, what are you doing, right? I feel like he has to swing so he gets his Guide trigger. He's going to put it on itself. Makes sense. Putting it on the token is a liability if he knows we're playing Snapback. Snapback is just good against this deck as a whole. I haven't seen it. But we might beat it. To beat a Boros deck splashing Thoughtseize 2-0 will feel really great. So let's just draw that land. Just like we planned. Sorry. Stop making sounds, eh? Lotus Bloom. Hey, there's our old friend. Good old Baying Veil, modern staple and all-star. Let's make some green mana. We'll do green for the win. We're a Simic deck now. Look at me. I'm the captain now. There you have it. That's how you beat Boros, ladies and gentlemen, and all of the in-between. Should I just record another match? Yeah, we'll just go to another match. I don't think it could go any better than that, so unfortunately, we probably have nowhere to go but down, but we'll take it. If you hear my keyboard typing, that is me trying to track. I like to track how my deck is doing. Someone's walking outside my office. Who is that? Boros Energy, we won 2-0. What a upset. That puts me to 4-4 against Boros Energy, and I think down 1 game overall in my record. Not bad. We are on the play. We tied again, rolled a 6 for the win. I have a win con, and I have some lands, as well as interaction, question mark, and a preordain. So it's pretty standard keep. I don't think you're ever putting away any hand that has 3 lands and a win con. Lotus Bloom sweetens a deal. And again, I love that this deck is something where if I draw the Belcher, now memory becomes something that I can pitch. The one thing here is, because Bane Veils won me games, I am hesitant to play it out instead of just playing this. But yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Famous last words. It's probably good, right? It's gonna be the one lineup where I really just needed Bane Veil. Okay, well, Sacred Foundry, bad 2C, and there's the Oscillate. What I wouldn't give for a good old Shoal right now. Obviously, if I'd known that, I would have kept the Bane Veil in my hand, and I even considered it. But here we go. Okay, this is faster than memory. We like that. The fact that we're on the play is a big deal here. We're gonna lead on Preordain. We don't need any of these, so great lead. Another Preordain. We're going to play out this. We're going to leave it tapped because we're just trying to survive at this point till turn 4. We need to hit 1 more land, and we have 3 looks at it between our draw, or 4. We have our draw for turn, and then our scry 2, which if they're both not lands, we can bottom. So that we have all the way to that 4th card in our deck to hit any mana source that is not Lotus Bloom. Another black splash. So maybe this is a new thing. Boros has started splashing black, I guess, for Thoughtseize. We hope he doesn't. Obviously, right now we're kind of insulated against Thoughtseize. Yeah, even if he takes the land. Like I said, we have 4 looks, so we should be okay. Giga Drowse becomes is the least effective against the Oscillate lines versus he's obviously better against like Ragavan and the Guide. And when the Guide put counters on something, you can tap that. So, ooh, Snapback is nice. I think we still want to lead on Preordain here. I'm really curious what he's holding up. Oh, he's got Bowmasters. Okay, yeah. I mean, you got me, I guess. That's right. Black is for Thoughtseize and Bowmasters. I guess that makes sense. Bowmasters is good. It is good. It's not amazing against us. He gets to get the trigger here. He's not going to get the cat, which is nice. Oh, it's only on his end step. Force is pretty useless. We want the land. So he is hitting us here. What do I want to do here? I can bolt myself to just hard cast Snapback, which is only netting us a -1 life if we're bouncing the token. But at this point, I don't think we're going to use Giga Drowse, so I think casting it for free is free, so to speak. And next turn, we're going to bolt ourselves. So I'm going to put Sync into play tapped. Pass the turn and hope to win next turn, with this being our 4th land, and then Charbelcher. Question here is I could actually Giga Drowse and then use Snapback with selective memory instead to like bounce the Pride, so it, or whatever. I guess it depends on what he plays. If he casts Thoughtseize, I want to have both of these in my hand. If I Giga Drowse now, it means I don't get to Snapback, but if he Thoughtseizes, he's not likely putting more into play. He can't cast Thoughtseize unless he has a black source and Thoughtseize if I do this. So I think this is what we're doing. Sorry if that was fast to track. I'm trying to say my thoughts out loud. These are thoughts that usually are all internal as I'm debating what to do. I mean, the writing is on the wall. Hopefully. Like I said, if he has Black Source plus Thoughtseize, we don't get to Snapback, which means we're taking 2, 3, 4, 5. But if that's all we're taking, that's fine. What does this do? Exert, blah, 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 blah. He is exerting it. Add 2 for red haste. Raptor with haste. Not ideal. Don't love it. But as long as we have 4 life left, we're going to be okay. Another Ocelot. So he's swinging for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's tapped out. I think we win here no matter what. On the off chance he doesn't know about selected memory, I don't think I'm going to snap back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think there's any surprise card he could have that beats us here. We'll go to 10. We'll shock ourselves or bolt ourselves to 7, and we're going to win next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and pass. And he's going to hit me for a bunch. He's going to make 2 cat tokens, trigger, ascend, get more cat tokens. Yeah, that's a lot of tokens. I was facing a build of this that had the Bushwhacker. Did something like this. Made Bushwhacker and smashed me. Bay and Veil saved us. That's in a different video if you want to watch that. So we will go with our age-old Simic combo here. Hey, it did it automatically that time. Do you see that? It sucked up my green mana without me having to click it. So technically he can see the whole deck now. So he can see Thassa's Oracle and Selected Memory anyway, but most opponents, not most, there are some opponents who the deck is unknown and aren't going to take the time to look through it all. They should. It popped right up in front of them, and Thassa's Oracle's on top. So I don't know that we really gained anything by not playing Snapback, but there is the potential that we gained something. So we'll run back last game like this and this, right? But then we started trimming on Gigas, which I think in the light of all the token generators, now that it's Bowmasters plus, you know, I think I like these better. I mean, Venser also could be like bouncier, 2/2 token, block your Bowmasters now, which is a great play at 4. We're not really caring about 4 drops for Shoal. We want 2 drops. So, which is just my snapbacks and my lands now. Yeah, I think I like this. I think I like Harbingers over Gigas. Now that they're trying to play a third color. I didn't, you know. People often think it's free to just splash a color, but it does make make you less good. And then now you have to think about Harbinger versus just Blood Moon. Like their deck is already insulated versus Blood Moon because it has red cards in it, so they probably only play the basic plains and then basic swamp maybe. But no one expects the merfolk. Well, it would be great to win 2-0 versus this twice. What is this now? Mardu, right? I think I said it wrong. This is Boros Energy is what I'm putting it under, but it's technically Mardu. Crovax 90. So I assume if I look on MTGO Goldfish later that someone splashed black for the Bowmasters and placed in something or streamed it or something, and that's why everyone is now like, yay, I can dust off my old Bowmasters. Which, like I said, is a card that, although we're playing blue, we are pretty insulated against, so that's nice. Yikes. This hand has 0 lands. Technically, all our hands have 0 lands, but I have 0 cards that could even be played as lands. It would be funny if these were good cards. If I had a Belcher and any other interactive card that wasn't Thorkel but still had 0 lands, I might keep it and just be like, oh, double bloom, we'll draw 1 land and go for the win, and just hope that Snapback and Subtlety is enough. And then what, but obviously that is not the case. This is playable question mark. We only have 2 lands, so we kind of have to keep both of those plus the preordain, which really limits what interaction we get to keep. So we're gonna have to tuck a Shoal. We'll keep Shoal and Snapback. We'll we're likely shoaling the Preordain away, unfortunately, to counter a turn 1 Ocelot, but I'm not going to counter a turn 1 Guide, and I'm not sure if they're playing Ragavan anymore, honestly. Um, but when you're going down lands, it's hard to keep a lot of the pitch spells because you only have so many cards in hand. Sorry, I was responding to a text. I'm technically at work, so don't tell my boss. I gotta be a man of my word. Obviously, leading on planes makes putting 4 Harbingers in feel bad, and of course we draw it. I am still gonna lead on this because we need an untapped source to play this on time or this on time. Even though I would kind of love to hold Bane Veil, we don't really get to do that. No bloom means it's much slower as well. Although I don't, they probably are playing Static Prison, but otherwise don't have a lot of other interaction. Wow, 2 basics. It's like they knew we had Harbinger. Is this guy watching my recording? I wonder if a Johnny triggers, like, does this technically die when you snap it back, or does it return to hand and then fizzle? Like, what? Because this is like your cat has to die to flip it. Haven't drawn great so far. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just get rid of it. I'd rather hard cast than pitch a card right now. There is definitely a camp that says hold on to this because I might need to shoal it. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, sometimes I just fly by the seat of my pants, so it's called. And I'm just going to slow him down as much as possible. He's got a couple 1/2s, is what this boils down to. Oh, we might see a Thoughtseize here. Nope, even worse. Damping Sphere. Damping Sphere, Damping Sphere. Why did he? I guess I can't Bloom then Belcher? So it's funny, he had an answer to her turn 4 win anyway, but I can't. I'm just like, I don't really cast. Does this count other persons for each other spell that player? No. So it's not like when he casts a spell, I can't cast Subtlety for free because I hadn't cast any other spells that turn, right? 1 for each. I think I can still pitch this for free. Anyways, we're missing land drops, so we're likely gonna lose anyway. He is down to 1 in hand and has a very slow clock. But as soon as he just like plays Ocelot, he gets to buff with Guide on the following turn. Yikes. I don't have a 1-drop. I needed 1 more land to cast this for 1. So, yep, not much we can do. This is where when you're playing in person, you just throw your hand down like, I guess this is what is happening to me. I'm kind of surprised he takes the win con, honestly. We're two turns away from casting it, but I guess Harbinger does nothing to him right now, and I don't know. I feel like take the subtlety so you know your next threat is going to land. But I guess the long game, that's fine. He is still in a, good position here. We top deck better than him, but we just got pretty hard behind there by missing our land drops. He knows about subtlety and shoal. I doubt he has any like 3 or 4 drops. If he does, obviously we'll probably counter them. I'd be happy to pitch the Harbinger because it's not going to do much. I'm going to cast it here because it means we're not going to get Thoughtseized. He could generate mana by playing something. Interesting. I think I'm going to hold on to the Veil. You see there, I actually clicked it. I almost went to play it, and then I remembered. 1, I want to be able to shoal it away. 2 gives me a subtlety while holding on to this, although I kind of want to hard cast subtlety at this point. And next turn, this is going to be untapped. Whenever I activate an ability, deal 2 damage. So this is just take 2 damage when I activate Charbelcher. I don't know that that's actually a good sideboard card versus us, but okay. I'm letting it land because I think that's our only activated ability in the deck, and I mean, I guess it means we're dead at 2 life instead of 0. I guess I don't know, but I'm gonna hardcast a 3/3 next turn, and he can't swing this turn. So it's like I'm giving myself turns, and I'd rather my Shoal answer something that is more dangerous. I think instead of preordaining, I have 1 card in hand. We can't preordain and cast a win con this turn anyway. I think I'm gonna go like this, and now I can cast Shoal for 2, like paying 4 mana. I can subtlety, which is what I want to do. If he does go to combat and swing, I'm definitely just going to subtlety block. But ideally, we get to subtlety a creature and have it out as a blocker. Don't think we're going to turn the corner and start attacking anytime soon because of Harsh Mentor. But if they aren't casting any spells for the next couple turns and we get like another subtlety or hydroelectric dude, we'll do that. We are gonna nope, he doesn't. End step. I think I'm still going for it without the value. I think I'm fine with that. Again, we're stonewalling him more than he is us, and the longer this game goes, the more likely we are to win. Look at that. We can't Belcher this turn because of Damping Sphere. So if you were thinking, oh wow, great, I can play this, and I thought that too. We can't do that. I'm torn because part of me wants to have the insulation of having both of these. I doubt he plays basic Swamp, but he could have other ways of getting rid of this. I think it's probably safe to bottom the memory, top this, draw it, and pass the turn with both of these up. I can Shoal on 1 or 3, pitch this or cast it. I can cast Sink into Stupor if I have to. And even if I use this to cast, I still have 4 mana up for Belcher next turn. So, to pitch or cast. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good place. What a lovely island. Just beautiful islands all around. And again, I don't have to bolt myself, which is an advantage. Nothing? I could bounce something. Worth bouncing. I don't think so. Does Static Prison have flash? I don't know. Maybe it does. Let's just go for the cast first and see what happens. We're not activating it this turn anyway. I kind of want to hang on to this. I guess we're not pitching it. There's not really value in playing it, though. I'm just going to hold on to it. I don't need any more mana for anything at this point, and there's some off chance that they just like cast a Pithing Needle here and I have to bounce it, and I don't know. It is Static Prison. So yeah, next turn we get to bounce it and win, assuming there's not something else going on. It also gives him how many? It gives him 2 energy. So it goes up to 3 energy, which means he could swing now and use the guide. Oh. Okay. Okay. He took the Harbinger first, so he could double prison. Is he gonna take the? Okay. He'd have to cast a 0 drop now? Question mark. Or does he have the basic swamp? No, he just wants to surveil. Okay. Damping Sphere slowed him down some there, but because I assume he has some sort of 2-drop in his hand. But I get this play from him. It makes sense now that he was holding Static Prisons, and wasn't willing to just put it on the subtlety to like swing with the 2/2. I'm obviously not worried. I'm pretty sure we still have the win locked and loaded here. Yeah, sure. He hits 2, so that's gonna be 4. This does 2 damage to me when I use the Belcher. I'm not gonna be. Oh, I can't balance. Sorry. Back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I go to 5, so I can sink. I can't sink and Belcher in the same turn. So now I kind of wish I had played this. Sorry, I for some reason thought this I was gonna have the same enough mana. So the question is, do I want to block to slow this down or not? Right now he's saving me 2 life this turn, 2 life next turn, or he could serve me 4 life this turn. Harsh Hunter is going to activate 2, so putting me to 8 with a shock land is effectively 5, which is effectively 3. Ugh, never mind, I am worried. Interesting. I think we do just block. Because, yeah. I'm trying. I basically only have a turn. Shoot, the double stack person might actually get there. And another land. Interesting. So anything he plays is going to have haste, so I am basically dead next turn. So I can sink into Stupor. If I had played this last turn, I'd be at 4. This would have to be untapped as my 5th land. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd be at 5. Sorry, this would have to be untapped as my 6th land to bounce and activate. So it didn't cost me the game. So now I'm just trying to figure out, because I can also bounce this, which obviously will save me a bunch of life. It really depends on what their next play is, what their, if they just draw another land, Arena Glory, another Static Prison, bouncing this buys us some decent time. But so I think I'm not. This isn't going to counter anything, but this could counter something. Pitching it. And I could cast it for 2 and play this. I think this is what we're going to do. Life total. So 4, 5, 6 will put me down to 6. I'd bolt myself to 3, and then he'd do 2 more damage, putting me to 1. So I could, if he draws nothing, sink into Stupor, the prison, and win the following turn. If he draws anything that he arenas, I am forced to then sink into Stupor, the Harsh Mentor, to stay alive. He has to burn all his energy. So he didn't. I was curious if he'd give me back that. I assume he keeps the one with the Belcher underneath it because he doesn't want to die. So Guider of Souls doesn't give him enough energy, right? Because it doesn't trigger itself. So just 1 trigger to buff again. So I think this means we win. He turned off his Arena of Glory, which is interesting. I don't think it was super relevant. He can't pay it, can't pay it. We take 4, we go to 8. I bounce this, untap and kill him. Yeah. Sweet. He has 0 cards in hand, no other mana, no other tricks that we know of. I take 2 more damage to activate it, but again, you get to see the power of having lands that are also spells. And that was, I think, a pretty interesting game. There was some back and forth, some good choices in there. I take my 2 damage. Good game, sir. We'll leave it off there. What a great run there to 4-0 against a typically bad matchup. Let me know your thoughts. Give me a like, some YouTube interaction. People always ask for that. It's because the internet points make us feel good. I just realized. Anyways, yeah, or talk to me in the Discord. Thank you.